Hey everybody, how is it going? I'm sorry, what am I thinking? Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and we're actually here live now because, we're going to talk about points or cash back. And so I'm going to wait for everyone to kind of come on in. But as people are kind of coming in, I wanted to actually go ahead and actually tell you a little bit about something that I'm just telling you that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and share my screen real quick. Got to make sure everything looks right. All right, add to stage. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my website. So first of all, on my contact page, I have a new newsletter that's going out every Friday morning, and so far that's all we're doing. I'm toying around with the idea of being able to actually send emails out if there's like kind of a breaking news thing, like maybe there's a brand new kind of offer out on credit cards or something like that. So that could be an option. But yeah, so if anyone here wants to sign up for my mailing list, please feel free to do so. Of course, then we also have some credit card consultations that you guys could do as well. So anyway, just wanted to flash shout out my store, but now that that's out of the way, we have some more friends coming in. So let's go ahead and get into it. So basically kind of the one thing that I wanted to do for today's office hours was just talk about cashback versus points. So we it's funny because a lot of creators, they like to talk about being team cashback or being team points and miles, and like I keep wanting to say, like, I have so many cashback credit cards that I just absolutely love. Like, honestly, like the Venmo credit card is really solid. It's got 3% back on everything on your top spending category, 2% back on your second highest spending category, and then 1% back on everything else. No annual fee. Now it is through Synchrony. That's really solid. I have that. It's a great card, right? It's a great card. I don't use it. And I don't know. I wish that I was kind of more of a cashback person. And then, of course, I love to talk about my Fidelity Rewards Visa card. It's my favorite card. It's one of my favorite cards that I never ever use. And the reason why is because, well, I'm just too in the can for American Express and those points. But let me know. What do you guys think? Are you guys really kind of into points? Are you into cash back? I did a video a couple days ago where I was talking about the Hilton devaluations. And it's funny because every single cashback card, it transfers to Hilton at 1 to 2, right? Everyone loves talking about American Express and the fact that they can transfer to Hilton. So it's 1 at Amex point and then it's 2 Hilton points. But if you just get Chase Ultimate Reward points, you can cash those out at 1 cent per point and then buy those Hilton points at a half cent a point if you want to, right? And so like that's kind of a big deal, right? And so it depends on who you are, and that's really wild. Just a big shout out to Kirby for being here again. He was here, was it last weekend or 2 weeks ago at this point? I don't remember exactly, but he was incredible. Had a really great bunch of bits. Actually, on the back end, that actually had a lot of people keep watching it. So Kirby must have a huge fan base because they kept watching that video. But anyway, he said that he's on his way back from the Long Beach airport. He had a fun work event pulling a Boeing 757 to raise money for the Special Olympics. That's incredible. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome, Kirby. All right, so we're going to start to get some responses. So let's see. We got background blown, almost early, gang. Yeah, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you, Kirby. I don't care about cash back. I'll never earn enough of it to matter. Snooze. Yeah, and that's part of it, right? And so, like, let's compare that to and that's I think that's kind of the big reason why, like, when people compare the Capital One Saver card versus the American Express Gold card, which I actually have my main wallet in the other room. So, you know, it's yeah, the American Express Gold card is spend it. It costs more, right? It costs more money to get the American Express Gold card. But the very fact that you can get 4 points per dollar over 3% back or 3 points per dollar is solid. And so that just really seems to be a big deal for me. And so, yeah, that's, I kind of agree with you, Herbie. I'm definitely more points and miles. And Keith brings up a great point. Subs are higher on points and miles cards. Yeah. That's really solid, right? So if you take a look at the sign up bonus for the Capital One Saver card, right? That's usually $250. And so that's not going to be that big of a boost, right? So $250, it's still $250, right? But it's kind of standard for no annual fee cashback card. Whereas the venture card, which has an annual fee, $95, it gives you 75,000 venture miles once you actually make that sign up bonus. And so that's kind of a huge, huge deal. But yeah, that's solid. That's a great point, Keith. James Sturgis. Good afternoon, Philip. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Everyone's just really awesome as far as this community goes. Source King, I'm in this for high-end travel, so cashback carries little value to me. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point behind the point with points, right? Wow, how many times can I say that word? But like, if you're doing points specifically for like international business travel or even international first class travel, those award charts, those award seats are where you get that outsized value. And sure, like, so the inflated runaway value kind of comes from the fact that international business is just so freaking expensive. But the very fact remains that, if you get the right award saver seat with Virgin, you can fly in business class across the pond at 35,000 points if you find the right seat. Now, you got to play around with it, but you definitely can. Keith, cash from bank account bonuses. Absolutely, Keith. So right now, I'm working on my Bank of America sign up bonus for that checking account, and then Wells Fargo. I've already done the direct deposit part. There's a monthly kind of waiting thing. So I'm pretty much just depositing enough there to make sure the fee isn't a part of it. But then there's that. But so far this year, let's see, we've done Chase. Let's see, we've done, I did another SoFi recently. Let's see, there was another one that I did. Ally, there was one. There was a kind of a referral bonus that I did. The checking account bonuses, it's the one thing I will say about checking account bonuses is you have to completely be on top of your game. It's entirely easy to kind of lose track of how many checking accounts you have. Like, in fact, I actually have on my iPhone, I have a folder of just banks where I have open checking accounts. And I just make sure to check that every couple of days just to make sure that, I don't have a negative balance for some reason. But, also, I only make payments on my credit cards for my quarterback account with Chase anyway. So there's no real reason for any money to be going out of any of those accounts, but you never know, right? But yeah, no, checking account bonuses are insane. Yuri, hey, Philip, booked England for spring break 2026 with your assist. Oh, great. So England is amazing. In fact, actually, you know what? We're going to do some advertising for England right now. So we're going to do Dial House. So Dial House is a really cool, that it definitely could be. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see, Dial House. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again because I just want to talk about this place. So my wife and I stayed here not too long ago. So we went here in spring break, and so this is really surprisingly inexpensive. Now, and we're going to travel, kind of click into here. So this is the main fireplace in this. There's like this little sitting area in the main house, and honestly, drinking a pint. I actually sat in that table specifically and just work. I actually edited a video in front of that fireplace, and it was just, it's such an amazing place. And then this is actually kind of like a little, there's a yurt kind of teepee bar place behind there, but the rooms are really cute. We actually got it in the carriage house when we stayed. So let me see if that room is actually still available. Stay. So this was actually, we had to pay in cash, and they didn't take American Express. We used our, we used our venture card for this one. Coach House Superior Room. I think this is the one I booked, actually. And then the one we booked was, maybe it was this one. Sorry, I'm going to have a sneeze coming up. There we go. I think it was the Coach House Deluxe room. So this one was actually on the second level, and it had a wonderful view of their little courtyard area. Oh, Steve's coming back up again. Nope. Okay. So yeah, the Dial House was really amazing. It was in the Cotswolds, which if you haven't been to the Cotswolds, it's amazing. Yeah, this is it's called Bourton on the Water, and is the town that it's on. It's like there's a little creek that goes straight through the place. It's amazing, and we're literally just counting the days down until we can actually go there again. We love the Cotswolds, specifically the Dial House. It was amazing. There wasn't any air conditioning. But we went during spring break, so it didn't really matter very much. We just kind of kept the windows open at night and everything was fine. But yeah, Yuri, I'm so glad to hear that you are going to England for spring break. Are you going to be going to London, or are you just kind of going around the entire continent? Let's see. What flight did you take to Edinburgh? Which airports are going to plan a trip late next year? Matt Smith, we might actually be going the same time because we're actually going to be going next November. So not this November, but the one after that. And so the flight we're targeting, because we won't be able to actually make the bookings until November, I'm booking up, I'm building up Mesa points, and I'm building up Amex points, because what I'd like to happen is I'd like to make the transfer to Cathay Pacific, and I'd like to book 2 first class tickets on British Airways. Now, the reason why, so there's still fees associated with Cathay Pacific, but they're substantially lower than they are for if you were to book it with British Airways or Virgin or even American or Alaskan. And so the fees are a lot cheaper on Cathay Pacific, but you get to do British Airways. It seems like not many people are like incredibly over the moon about the product with business class or first class on British Airways, but like I know my wife and I are planning on flying to England anyway. And so that could be an option. Another thing that we're tracking is if you go further out in advance, there's not much award availability, but you can book Virgin upper class tickets via Air France, and you pay Air France's fees into London. And so basically, you get that upper class seat into London on Virgin Atlantic Metal, but you only pay, I think it's like $200 a person instead of the $800 or $900 that you could pay if you paid directly with Virgin. So those are the 2 things that we're tracking. However, if none of those work, then we're exploring other options of just flying into Charles de Gaulle or maybe Barcelona or something like that, and then just getting an international, like a European business class flight from one of those places into Edinburgh directly. But basically, pretty much what we're doing is planning on just flying into London, stay a couple nights there, and then we might actually take a train up to London. Yuri flying round trip JFK to LHR and Virgin, 24,000 miles plus $380 in fees. That's amazing. I needed 4 tickets, so opted for economy, staying at Hyatt in London, planning a few day trip. Nice. So the Hyatts have a couple different properties, but they most recently opened that Park Hyatt in London. And, honestly, it's expensive, right? It's 45,000 Hyatt points per night, and every time I look, there seems to be pretty good availability at the Park Hyatt New York or in London. But again, it's 45,000 points, which my wife and I stayed at the Park Hyatt in New York City, and that was really solid. Like the service was amazing. The people treated us like it was incredible, and so yeah, that's amazing. Economy is it's not bad. Economy isn't bad, especially honestly. That flight from JFK to Heathrow is not. It's not that long, right? On a good day, it could be like 5.5, 6 hours. That's not bad. All right, Yuri, there's a fast train going from London to Edinburgh. It might be more cost effective than flying there from the United States. Yeah, 100%. That's an option. My wife and I were actually looking into the Caledonian Sleeper because that could be fun. I don't know. It depends on where our schedule is, because we're actually traveling with another family group. And so, it basically kind of figures out like where everyone's schedule is and stuff like that. So we might just do a flight from wherever we are and directly into Edinburgh, and then, kind of go from there. But, it would be cool to be on a train like that. But yeah, Link 875. Dang, you're almost at 3,000 subs. Keep doing great work. Also, Capital One finally approved me for the Venture X to finish out the Capital One Duo. Can't wait to use it. That is amazing. Link 875. That's incredible. Yeah, the Venture X. So maybe you can help me figure this out. So I currently have the Venture card, and I currently hold the Capital One Saver card. So the Venture card I got with a product change for my Walmart card. And I recently got so that's the only card that I actually have. My Venture card is the only card that I have my wife on as an authorized user. And so what I was thinking about doing is either having her sign up for the Venture card or the Venture X, and then like downgrade. I have an upgrade offer to the Saver card on my Venture. So we would both have the Saver and the Venture, whatever one. But I can't really decide if I want the Venture or the Venture X. Now I know the Venture X, like like I'm sold on the value proposition. The only thing that's kind of worrisome to me about that is it's $395 on top of everything else. And so I'm not really sure what I want to do. But yeah, no, the Capital One Duo is really insane. And thank you so much for, yeah, guys. We are really close to 3,000 subscribers. I think 26, 29 as of right now. So, 26, 31. It went up right now. I've been very lucky with the growth so far, even when things are slow a little bit. Still seem to have decent growth, which I'm very, very happy about. But Link 875, I'm so glad to hear that you got the Venture X. Honestly, if I got the Venture X, I would use it so hard because my wife and I, we're going to Costco so much more now, and we're starting to nest. We're starting to build up the stuff. Like we actually went and got 2 things on Facebook Marketplace today for baby stuff. Like we are significantly increasing the baby related spend. And so having the Venture X just to be able to use it at Costco might actually kind of push it over the edge, honestly. Matt Smith at Nice at Yuri and Phillip. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks so much for bringing that to us. Like, it's the great thing that I love about kind of searching for flights is that with Europe, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal to change from, one, if you're flying, say, into Madrid, or if you're flying into Frankfurt or something, like, it's not terribly difficult to get a business flight, at least with points, to Edinburgh or anywhere else you want to go in Europe. So pretty much all I do when I search is I search from the America to Europe, and then just kind of figure out what it makes sense to do in between that. Philmo, thanks so much for being here. We are doing JetBlue Mint to LHR. Gotta love the $5.60 fee. Philmo, you've got to tell me. So I keep looking for JetBlue Mint's availability, and it seems like whenever I do see good availability, it's from Boston, which Boston seems fine. Like it has a lot of lounges that I would want to go to. Like I really do want to try out the Sapphire Lounge in Boston. And then I think Amex is building one out now, which is solid. But like it's always like a couple 100,000 JetBlue points, which it could be worthwhile, right? It definitely could be worthwhile, but it's I don't have very many city points. I only have about 150,000 Chase points, and so like I'd have to be doing a less than favorable kind of redemption through American Express for that. But if you have any secrets about how to do JetBlue Mint, I would love to hear it. Link 875, are you excited for the Amex refresh, or are you sick of these increasing fees? So I definitely feel like I'm more in the can. Like it's funny because I just had a debate of sorts with Anthony Venture, because he definitely seems like he's more fine with the credits and everything on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But personally, I hate how much work I have to do, right? So how many extra things do I have to sign up for, right? So, and I know this may sound a little kind of like I'm kind of going against myself here, but the fact that you have to sign up for a DoorDash subscription, you have to sign up and then do groceries twice a month through DoorDash, the fact that you have to sign up for Apple Music and then sign up for Apple TV Plus in order to get that whole value. I'm not offended by increasing fees. I am offended by increasingly difficult ways to earn the value back from those fees, if that makes sense. Like the Platinum card as it stands, a lot of it is you can just set it and forget it, right? So like as long as I know that I'm going to use Uber Eats once or twice in a month, I get my 2 gold card bonuses and my Platinum card bonus in Uber Cash. Now, it sounds like that might be going away for the Platinum card. I hope not. Like I like my Uber Cash, but well, it is what it is. But the Platinum card, it's easy to automate, right? So the Disney Plus thing is set it and forget it, right? We use Hulu enough that it makes sense to get that for free. The Walmart Plus thing is set it and forget it. You just make sure that that's the default card for your Walmart Plus payments, and then I use everything else on my Apple One Pay card for 5% back. There's a lot of ways to make this work, and it feels like it's easier to get those value from. Now, of course, I do travel a decent amount. And so like the airfare credit thing, I get value from that. Even with just like the Delta Sky Club access fees and like, the taxes and fees on point redemptions and stuff, like I use that. So my personal Platinum card, Delta is my provider for that. And then I'm pretty much almost all the way there. And it's just off of Sky Club access for friends, and then points of redemption fees. So it feels like the Platinum card is easier to get value from, and so judging by everything I've seen, it's not terribly hard to get value from either, right? Like Lululemon. Lululemon is probably the most egregious of the rumors, but I can make it work. Like. I did a video this morning, actually. Let's see if I have it, of this little kind of envelope I got. I got one of those special gifts that that they bring out, and it's interesting because it's actually it's $75 code to Quince or Quince or however you're supposed to pronounce it, and like I never would have shopped at this place before this letter came. Now, if I like what I buy with this free $75, would I go there more? Absolutely, right? And so American Express does a good job of kind of directing how you spend money. And as long as it's helping you, that feels like a net positive to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay. Lisa has a great question. The Capital One Quicksilver is still 1.5% can be used as a catch-all instead of the Venture X. Yeah, 100%. And I have it, right? I have it in my car backup wallet for whenever I go to Costco because it's a Visa card. So it gets 1.5x, which is great, but 2x could be a little bit better, especially if you're spending, at least, several $100s per month. That can kind of add up over the course of the year. But yeah, no, solid point. And you can have the Capital One Duo. You can have transferable currencies without actually needing to pay an annual fee to Capital One, which is great because you can use Quicksilver card for your catch-all, Saver card for your special categories, and then just hold the Venture One in your wallet, and you can use it to transfer to one-to-one to a lot of those partners with Capital One. And that's a solid option for no annual fee. Lisa, why is the Venture X available at Costco? Yeah, that's a great question. So basically with Costco, if you're using a credit card, it has to be a Visa. Luckily though, with the Venture X, it can only be available as a Visa Infinite card. And so well, it's true for some people can have a Visa Venture card, but it's also possible for people to get a MasterCard Venture card. And you don't really know which one you're going to get when you actually apply for it. So getting the Venture X kind of forces it to become a Visa, which means you can use it at Costco, which is nice. And currently my Venture card is a MasterCard, and so I can't use it at Costco, which is the problem. The Venture X $300 credit, I was able to get it into my United Travel Bank. Interesting. I bought a non-refundable flight and then canceled after 30 days. United sent me the funds to my travel bank account. Okay, that's actually really good to know because I already used the travel bank for my business platinum card. So I went ahead and cleared that out this week, actually, in anticipation of something changing with the airfare credits with the platinum card. So that's a really solid idea because I feel like United, they're expensive, right? So if I were to go looking for places that I would travel, it feels like United could be a little bit more expensive than any of the other options, specifically like American or something like that. Yuri also seems to have the same problem with me at JetBlue. At Film, I've looked at JetBlue to LHR, too much points. If I flew solo, a couple, I would do it. Also, Virgin has 4 flights a day, JB maybe one. So if some flexibility needed, I feel I'll have it with Virgin. I will say the Yuri, the Virgin availability is kind of why I love Virgin so much. Like, we're pretty flexible about where we want to fly out of. If you're flexible between Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta, and then maybe even JFK, and you're flexible between Edinburgh, or not Edinburgh, but Manchester or London, you can find a saver seat somewhere on the week that you want to travel. Like you can get a premium economy seat for around 15,000 points, maybe even less. You can find a business class seat for 45,000 points, possibly 35,000 points. Every once in a while, there's that kind of rogue one in there. Like Virgin just has so much availability for those saver fares, and so yeah, that is really good. I have really found it difficult to find JetBlue availability. Keith, if you weren't LOL24, they have those new elevated ink subs, easy chase UR points. Yeah, those are nice. My wife and I actually, it's funny. My wife about 2 months ago did get the ink unlimited. And I'm really kind of thinking of what if I asked her if she wanted to sign up for another one? We might, we might. That might be the next one, because even with the business preferred $95, like that's not terrible of an annual fee. But yeah, unfortunately for me, my wife is definitely under 524. And so that might be kind of a workaround with that one. But yeah, you're right. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Filmo, I didn't know about the venture card. Got to check which flavor I have. Yeah, it is kind of weird how they just kind of like they change it. And well, you can't change it from time to time. But fortunately enough, my Quicksilver card is a Visa. So if I ever get a high enough credit limit with Capital One to actually hit over 10,000 and have a usable card and my saver card, I would probably try to get a product change off of that if nothing else. But yeah, no, it's super weird. Their relationship with MasterCard and Visa is kind of dynamic. Dim says the Virgin taxes are a killer. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong about that. Let's take a look here at, let's just, for grins and giggles, let's take a look at Point Hound. So Point Hound is really solid if you want to look at Virgin availability or even Air France availability. They recently kind of changed their the way they did things, but you can actually look at top flight detail. So if I want to look at premium economy, let's do it from September of next year, October this year to September next year. You can search a year. So I'm searching MCO, Tampa, Atlanta, JFK, and the destinations, LHR, Manchester, Edinburgh. So let's go ahead and see what we can see. And so they do have other availability, but primarily it's easier to find for Virgin or Air France usually, but they do also have some others. So, all right, yeah, here we go. So MCO to Manchester, Wednesday, October 8th for 8,000 points. So it looks like that is taking advantage of a chase change. So it's actually 10,500. So 10,500 points for a premium economy seat. Now, and of course, that fee is $238. And so if you're paying for a family, like that adds up, right? Even for a family of two, right? So for that Edinburgh trip next November, my wife and I are going to be paying for our 2 seats, and then we're going to be doing the lap infant policy for the baby. And so this is if I had to come up with another $238, then that could be kind of a problem, right? But it's just those points, man. Those points for $10,500 points. Any points. And, because everyone transfers to Virgin, right? That is insane, because that is domestic first class quality seats, right? That is, they're bringing you hot food. You got access to the Wonderwall. You got the nice bigger kind of restroom on the plane. Like, it's nice, right? It's hard to pass it up, but it definitely, their taxes are one of the highest ones. They're definitely not as bad as British Airways, but they're up there. Link 875. My wife always hates when I bug her about opening new cards, but I remind her how those business class seats are. Absolutely, right? We kind of lucked out, honestly. Our first trip, we were able to book the Conrad in London, and so they had the turn down service, and like they like actually like they folded our clothes and they like reorganized our overnight kits and things like that. Like it was just like insanely detailed service. And then we also got we did business class seats on the Eurostar, which is really nice. And then we also did the business class seats on Air France. And so like that one trip kind of like sold it, right? We're on board, like whatever I got to do, we're gonna do. And so yeah, no, it's definitely there's definitely a benefit to it. I'm in Croatia currently. Flew upper class round trip out of Miami to LHR. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And there's availability. There if you go to this. Oh yeah. No. Upper class premium taxes are way more higher. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and. There we go. A DM. Okay, so let's take a look again. Let's see if we can change our availability here for looking for business class. So, and of course, business class is upper class and Virgin, and they always like to say like it's the highest way they go. They don't do first class. Upper class is kind of where it is, which is nice because they give you that kind of premium lounge problem. Like if you fly to JFK or Heathrow, then you get access to those club lounges, and those are really nice. So let's take a look here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're looking at MCO to Manchester this November. And look, okay, so this is with the Chase bonus, but 29,000 points for Virgin Atlantic upper class. Now it is from Orlando to Manchester, which honestly, Manchester Airport's not bad. They're going with some construction right now, but you don't get like the Virgin Club lounge access, but Manchester's fine. It's not terribly difficult to get a flight into Heathrow for a lot less either. But we're taking a look at $583 in taxes. So you go from 250-ish to almost $600 a person, which is it's a lot. It's substantial, And so if you're trying to save money, then that can be a problem. I'm sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen. But yeah, so this one here, 29,000 points on Thursday, November 6th, Orlando International to Manchester. So that's supposed to be an 8-hour flight. But yeah, that is crazy. It's funny because I think it was last year or early this year, like everyone was complaining about Virgin was devaluing their points, like they were going dynamic. But if anything, I've actually seen more availability. Now you do have to be specific in looking for those saver fares, because if you're not, you're going to spend like 50,000 points for an economy ticket. But you can find some good deals. Yeah. Let's see here. So we talked about that. Filmo, link 875. Sorry, just opened them for the wife. She just asked which one to use. Hashtag blessed. Yes. I definitely, I'll basically what I do is I give my wife kind of a roadmap of this is what I would like to do in the future. Let me know when you feel comfortable having another spending bonus to work towards, right? And so pretty much like we're taking a little brief hiatus. Well, actually not that brief of a hiatus because I just got a special referral bonus / sign up bonus with Mesa. They're offering me 50,000 points and I have to spend $10,000 on the card in 3 months, which is substantial, but it's only realistically like another $2,300 per month on the card more than I already do, which isn't that terrible. And so it's definitely doing it. And so that's kind of that's a good point. Yeah. Just open them for the wife. That's amazing. Mr. Newfie love that. Love that name. Been in the points game for 3 years, but starting to think I don't travel enough as my wife and I are both teachers with 3 kids. Thoughts on switching to B of A if I can get PhD here? If so, any tips? Okay. So yeah, so I teach, but right now I'm teaching part-time. And most of the time, the award availability just isn't there. I will say that with that being said, though, I got that 30 or 45,000 point business class seats on Virgin. I got in the middle of spring break. And so like it is possible. But if you're not going to be traveling so much, then Bank of America is honestly one of the best ones for cashback, specifically if you do have other products with them, right? So if you have assets under management, if you have that kind of money that you're able to put into it, then yeah, no, like you could get, I think it's 3.5% on everything, things like that. Like, hands down. Like if you're going to do cash back and you do have some money to be part of some sort of membership tier, they seem to be the most stable in my mind. So please, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only other player in that game would be, let's see, there's Charles Schwab with the platinum card. You could kind of cash everything out, but then, you're spending a lot more on annual fees and things like that, where Bank of America, you can spend money on annual fees, but you don't really have to, right? And so that's a good point. That's a good question about Bank of America. I don't have any Bank of America credit cards. I just recently actually got a checking account, and so I'm gardening for a few months. We'll see if they'll give me one. I got denied for a couple recently that were like, okay, I've got to cut it out here, right? Fairwinds denied me. The City Strata Elite denied me. I was like, okay, maybe I need to give it a rest. Yuri, recent John R's vid on no such thing as free travel was good. I'll pay fees to fly direct where I want and when I need. School schedule, PTO. That is true. So I did have a little bit of a reaction to that. So John R's video, it's a solid point, right? So the kind of the unwritten rule is if you're traveling somewhere, specifically to Europe, right? If you're going where most people want to go in Europe, you're probably going to be flying through Heathrow for good award availability. So you're either going to be paying a lot more in points or you're going to be paying a lot in cash. And so if you're flying international business class, you're probably going to have to pay up to some degree, right? So those Air France business class seats, they're most likely going to be at 60,000 points, but you can find them sometimes at 50,000. That's like what, $260 in fees per seat. And so that's business class, which is nice, but there is a cost associated with it. The only other thing I would say is that my wife and I, when we did our trip to Washington, D.C., during the 4th of July, we used Alaska Miles to book American first class. So we booked, I think it was $560 for each person, then the $22 booking fee. And so that was, $40-50. And then we used Hyatt points to stay down, like right next to the Capitol building. And so, pretty much like all in for flights and accommodations, we were at $50. Because the Hyatts don't charge the taxes, right? Like, so there's a way to make your travel significantly cost less, but there's also a way to make your travel significantly cost more. It's a fair point. It's a fair point that people need to be aware of. Like, you're not traveling to London completely for free on points, right? You're either getting a mostly subsidized economy ticket, or you're getting a very heavily subsidized business class or first class ticket. That's kind of the way I look at it. Keith, I've seen upper class out of JFK to London for 27,500 earlier this year. That is amazing. So the friends of mine that were traveling to Edinburgh, we were looking, like, they were like, okay, like, what airport will we need to prepare to be? And I was like, if you're looking for the best points deals, it's going to be that JFK to LHR route. Like, that seems to be the biggest availability when it comes to points with a lot of these people. So that's kind of, that's going to be the best route for that, which is, it's wild. Cause like, I mean, I really would rather not have to do a connection to JFK. And, it would be cool to stay at the TVA hotel that's there, but I've heard that's kind of expensive too. So maybe we'll fly in like on a Delta flight early in the morning and then just prepare to just sit in a lounge for a couple of hours while we're waiting. The Virgin Rewards seat checker tool on their website is nice. Yeah, Keith, I love that tool. It's really cool. It's just like the one thing I hate about it is you can check per month and it's one route. Whereas with Points Hound, it's free to sign up. And I don't have a business relationship with Points Hound, but I just like this specific use of the product, right? And so that's because you can check multiple months, multiple routes, which is nice. But if you don't want to use any of the search tools, the reward seat checker tool is cool. Let's take a look at it. Just so everyone else knows. I mean, in case there is anybody that isn't familiar with how to use it, this is kind of the point of doing the office hours thing. Let me, I'm going to make sure I get logged in. Virgin is always kind of a weird thing when it comes to getting logged in. That is nice to know that the TWA hotel has a daytime rate. So I'm getting logged into Virgin right now because I don't want you guys to see my super secret password. I'm going to keep it off. So talk amongst yourselves, I guess, is that the way they said? Okay, no, I'm logged in now. So let's go ahead and take a look at reward seat checker. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So this is what the reward seat checker looks like. So when you log in, you can actually go to your account and it'll show you kind of what that reward seat checker looks like. So actually, let me see if I can bump my head in a different spot. Let's see, what if I did this? And, okay, you can see that a little bit better. All right, so let's just go ahead and go. I'm going to go from Atlanta. You know what? Let's just go to JFK. Where's JFK? There it is. JFK to London Heathrow. And then let's take a look at August 2026. So find reward seats. And so we're looking specifically for that route. Okay, and here we go. So interestingly enough, so pretty much for every day in August that they have reward seats available for, you can see that they have options. And so pretty much if you're flying in August of 2026, you can see 35,000 points here for Monday the 3rd, 35,000 points for Tuesday, and Friday, 46,000, 35,000 seats for 35,000 points for Saturday. So yeah, so this is a really solid way to find that directly as well. So yeah, solid point. Keith, thanks so much for bringing that up. All right, let me pull that back away. Let's see. At the end of the day, when my neighbor tells me how much a 6-day Disney vacation costs them, I say to myself, not out loud, I paid that much for my last 3 international vacations. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a solid point, Yuri. So many people, like, especially when you take a look at those hotels, like I was looking at, because my wife and I, we want to stay at a Disney premium hotel. And we were looking at the Grand Floridian, and it was like $800 for like the base room rate a night. And so if you're staying a week, that's a decent amount. Even if you're staying at like the cheap hotels, you're still paying like $350, $400 a night, which is crazy especially considering the fact that the Waldorf Astoria, that's still technically on Disney property, you can often get $300 to $400 a night just on the cash rate, and I'd much rather do that. But being on Disney property is being on Disney property. That's kind of nice. But yeah, no, people spend money on vacations, and you can save a lot of money on that. And those Amex offers really help as well. So specifically with Virgin Atlantic. So when my wife and we booked our premium economy tickets before, we had a Virgin Atlantic offer that saved us about $200 on our prices. So that was really, really solid for us. Link 875, do you have any recommendations for a debit card that doesn't charge the ATM fees, like for overseas? Yeah, 100% it's going to be the Charles Schwab debit card. And let's actually see. I got it in my travel wallet. I have my travel backpack has a little passport thing. This travel backpack actually is from Linus Tech Tips. It's their commuter backpack, and I love that it fits perfectly behind the seat and everything. And then I have my passport wallet. And then right in my passport wallet, I have my Charles Schwab debit card. And so this is really solid because, first of all, there's no fees to open the account. There's no account minimums. And all you have to have a brokerage account. And so you have to have the brokerage account, and then you have to have the investor checking account. And they give you the card for free and the checks for free for life, which is nice. So whenever I have to pay a bill with checks, I just do it on my Charles Schwab checks because I don't have to pay Chase $15 every year or whatever it is. So that's really nice. Now, the way this does it, so first of all, it has no foreign transaction fees, which is the first part of the problem. The second part of the problem is that it reimburses you for any ATM fee worldwide. And so basically you do have to prepare because you do pay that fee. But once the statement closes at the end of the month, or whenever your statement closes, mine is at the end of the month, they reimburse you. So they just inject that amount for that ATM fee. So you do have to front the money for the ATM fees, but you do get it back, which is nice. And I've been able to use this. It's upside down. Sorry. I've been able to use this at airport ATMs. I've been able to use it at the Eurostar train ATM, and I use it at a couple banks in London too, and in Paris actually, for that matter. It's very easy to use. It's very easy to use. Citi discounts for Citi Gold. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Citi does have a relationship bonus as well, which is kind of nice. QC Man, Link 875, Schwab, or Fidelity debit cards are both easily available options. There might be fintechs that may have similar deals, but I'm a Schwab guy personally. Yeah, I always forget the Fidelity card there. I have a cash management account. The only thing that I hate about that is that they recently, kind of after that whole Chase situation, they really upped the security on the Fidelity cash management account that it takes like a couple weeks for me to be able to put money in and then take it out. Where with Charles Schwab, I signed up for it with my school email address, and then basically I can Zelle my money to myself, and it's in that account immediately, which is really nice. So I definitely prefer the Schwab thing myself, but Fidelity is definitely an option. QC Man, good job. Keith, the TWA hotel I think has a daytime rate. Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. That I would certainly prefer that to. Actually, you know what? That's the frequent milers. They were talking about that recently. I do remember that. I would definitely prefer that to like just sitting in a lounge for another 3 hours. That would be definitely better. But because I want to give myself several hours in case anything did happen. Now we do have global entry and TSA pre-check and clear and the whole 9 yards. So like I'm not that scared about it going through customs, at least at JFK. But you never want to be like the one person like you miss your big international flight. Link 875 to get that debit card, you just sign up for their investor checking account. Yeah. So the investor checking account, I think you have to sign up for the brokerage account at the same time. But yeah, Dim, currently using my Schwab debit card too. Yeah. I mean, it's just the GOAT, you can use some others, I think. But that's the one that's like, it doesn't have any foreign transaction fees, and it reimburses you the ATM fee. Even when I'm traveling domestically, like my wife and I were in Palm Beach, and we were like, oh, we should probably get cash in case we got to tip the valet driver at the restaurant and stuff like that. And I pulled it out, and there was a hotel ATM that had a $12 ATM fee, and that was reimbursed at the end of the month, which was solid as well. QC Man, you have to have the brokerage account first, but you don't have to keep a minimum balance to either keep up. Yeah, and they don't shut them down. At least they haven't for a while for me. So that's really nice. Thanks. I'll open up a Schwab account now. It's really easy, honestly. I think I got my debit card within the week or so. QC Man, Link 875. See if there's a $100 bonus available for opening it first in stock for the brokerage account. It's nice to have that one available. Yeah, that's right. I actually signed up for my brokerage account a month before they opened that up, so I was kind of kicking myself. But yeah, QC Man, thank you so much for reminding me about that. That is a solid option. Okay, let's take a look at where else do we want to do? So we talked a little bit about Hilton. We talked a little bit about Hyatt. You know what? Let's take a look at Hyatt on in London. So I'm curious about that. So there are a couple different options, but I feel like the most interesting property is the newest one, right? But we can kind of take a look. Let's take a look at just March and find hotels. Let's take a look at points. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. Go ahead and pull this out. All right. So we have a couple different options in, so this is just England. Let's go ahead and see about central London here. So we do have a couple different options. So this one here, Great Scotland Yard, the Park Hyatt, that's one Aldwych. See Hyatt Regency London Blackfriars, that's really nice. Hyatt Regency London Embankment. So there's a couple different options, right? So it seems to me the dates that I was picking, there's actually not that many good spaces available points wise. So there are a couple. So the Embankment's 20,000 a night, but it's only saving you 183 pounds a night. The Park Hyatt, though, this one's 30,000 points for that Park Hyatt. I might actually be joining you during spring break there, Yuri, to save 371 pounds per night. That's amazing. That's true. That's kind of a big deal too. That's a fair point. Where is that? So yeah, it's further down a little bit. So yeah, it's a little bit further out. Maybe that's personally why it's starting to go out a little bit. We stayed at, let's see, the Conrad is in, let's see, I think this area. And that was really nice. But yeah, no, that's true. And honestly, location does matter, especially in London. As long it matters which tube line you're on too, because having to do kind of all those connectors in England is kind of a big deal. But yeah, that's a good point, Keith. One thing too, let's take a look at let's take a look at Hilton. see what the Hilton options are. All right, so let's do London here too. Hopefully they found London. There we go. Let's do the same March as well. Actually, there we go. Find hotel. All right, so then we got the Trafalgar is pretty nice. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you can see. There we go. So Hiltons are actually kind of primarily on the northern end of the city. Trafalgar is pretty nice. Let's see if we can do points. There we go. All right, so Nomad London, 311,000 points per night. Conrad is 134,000 points per night. Now, this is finding standard award space on the Conrad is really, really crazy. It's really difficult to do. The Waldorf often does have a little bit more award availability, which is it's a decent property. The Fleming's Mayfair is actually pretty cool. And then there's Hampton Inns and stuff. But I think Anthony did a day stay at, let's see, it was a Curio Collection property, I think. Oh yeah, the Westminster London. He said he did a day stay at this hotel, and it did pretty well. But yeah, he liked that. But the Conrad, I love the Conrads. They have specifically this one has really solid beds, and they got really solid lounges as well. So yeah. But anyway, let's get, QC man, thanks so much for keeping me on track. And thanks so much for the 2-spot. I really appreciate you. Are you considering a cashback setup? Yeah. So honestly, I'm always considering it, to be fair. It's, I have so many great cashback cards that I would love to use. Like I've toyed around with the idea of using my Fidelity card more. I've toyed around with the idea of relying more on my Saver card compared to my Gold card. And maybe say like a custom cash, not a custom cash, a double cash or something like that. But it's just the points are just I love the points too much. I think what it is, I love the puzzle of finding the points myself. Like I love finding out which one of these is going to work, right? That's kind of the big deal for me. What about you, QC man? Are you considering cashback, or you solidly in points? Keith, the Andaz is supposed to be one of the most convenient transit areas. Oh yeah, that's a really solid point as well. That's true. Let me go back to where the Andaz is. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, there is a decent amount of space. Let me share my screen here. Exactly. So it's here. Yeah. So there's a decent amount of space here. So there's a line that pretty much just goes like here, and then there's a couple that go like out there. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to get access to. And then of course there's a sky guard. We love that. That was cool. Walking in St. James Park was really awesome. And then Hyde Park, of course, is really cool. They have a really cool kind of Christmas thing there as well. All right, let's get back. Keith just said, I just canceled my trip next summer to London. Had a couple of suites at the Grand Scotland Yard. Wow, that does sound good. Let's see this. Grand Scotland Yard. The pictures here look amazing. Interesting. Yeah, that looks like a solid hotel. And I love it when they have like new kind of carpets. It makes it feel like it's like a little bit more intimate, a little bit more luxurious. But once that carpet starts to get a little old, it gets not so pretty, But yeah, no, that's amazing. I have booked so many trips there where I'm just like, let's just hold this room, and we don't go. But yeah, no, that's solid. Knowing what I know now, I'd probably never go back to all cashback, but I will keep a hybrid system. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the play. My biggest cashback cards are my Amazon card and my OnePay card now that I got last month. Like that, those 5% cards are hard to turn down. And, it's pretty much just, the Amazon thing in particular, 5% cash back just feels better than like 2x back, And so like we do that, and we earn a pretty decent amount back on that, probably maybe $30 to $40 back a month on our Amazon spend. So yeah, no, that's a solid idea. Keeping a hybrid system is cool. I just it's yeah, it's hard. I know some people say that with like spending multipliers, it can be difficult to try to keep everything maximized. And some people go all the way, right? Some people have like 3 or 4 custom caches and they get a label maker and they label it like this is gas the first 2 weeks of the month. And then, I like maximizing multipliers up to a point. But if I'm having more than 3 or 4 cars that I'm trying to think about in a rotation basis, probably a little bit too much for me personally. QC man, I'm a points guy for now, for sure. Maybe if subs stop being so lucrative, I'll reconsider. Absolutely. I've earned over 1 million Amex points so far this year. And I only have like 500,000 of those actually still in my Amex pool because, well, I just keep spending them. And, it's just, they keep throwing them at me, which is like, yeah, sure. I will sign up for another business gold. No problem. That's amazing. But yeah, no, the sign up bonuses are just so lucrative. It will be interesting to see so Chase got away with their 48-month rule or whatever. And that was pretty reliable. Like a lot of people were like kind of cycling through Southwest cards and cycling through United cards and the Sapphire cards based off of that. Because every 4 years you get a new round of sign-up bonuses to work on. But like they're trying to go away from that. But I wonder if they're going to have to kind of do a little bit more of what Amex is doing with these no lifetime language offers because, well, your rules are too restrictive. And there are some people that like if you want to keep some of the big spenders spending, they need those sign-up bonuses, So that's that's a solid point. The sign-up bonuses are just way too lucrative. And even if you cash them out, right? If you cash out those points, so let's say if you have the business checking account with Amex and the business platinum card, you can actually check those out or cash those out at 1 cent per point. And so like, yeah, I'll earn those points. But, if you're going to give me a 250,000 point offer for the business platinum, if I'm not going to be traveling anytime soon, that $2,500 sounds pretty nice, right? So even then, that might be worth considering as well. What do we think about cashing out our Amex points or our Chase points? Does that sound like something that we would probably be doing, or are we just kind of pretty much like if we have those points, we're going to keep them and make sure we use them? The only reason I ask is because actually, so for this microphone here, I cashed out some points and bought this, and then also towards this key light over here, which the key light's actually cool. I can control it with my computer, so I can change the temperature of the light a lot. So I can go full blue, I can go a little bit softer, and then I can turn it down. It goes really bright actually. But yeah, that is pretty wild. But yeah, so like I have cashed out some of my points for like stuff for my YouTube channel. But if I'm curious if anybody else does anything like that. Kirby cash cow points, boo heresy. Yeah, no, I wondered how many people would kind of disagree with that. Yeah, I get that. I think it was somebody that I was talking to. I think it was Anthony said that he cashed out some points for his MacBook, which it seems like a solid investment, right? If you know that you're going to be doing those things, then yeah, if you know it's going to go towards something that you're trying to achieve in your life, then that seems like that could be an interesting option. Let's see here. Background currency. To be honest, part of me thinks that Chase in a couple of years would end up becoming irrelevant if they keep going down this path they are on. Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like the main reason people, I feel like the main reason that people actually talk about Chase is because of Hyatt and maybe United, right? And if Hyatt starts to go dynamic, which honestly, like I believe they have to sometime. Like, will it happen this year? Probably not, but it has to happen at some point because they're starting to convert more towards that like asset light model, which is where Hilton and Marriott have been making their bread and butter for the last couple of decades, right? And so, what makes Hyatt is going away essentially in certain terms. And so, eventually it'll come to a point where they're going to have to go dynamic, and those Chase points are not going to be nearly as valuable as people think they are. And and even like getting rid of the reserve and the preferred, points bonuses in the portal, like that's huge, right? Like I'm not going to use my Chase points to book an IHG stay somewhere anymore, right? Because it's stupid to do that. And so, it's, no, I kind of agree. Like they're in this area where, they're it seems like they're focusing too much on trying to limit their spending to the point where it's going to limit kind of why people want to go to them in the first place. Like I'm actually considering actually closing my Chase checking account. And that's something I probably wouldn't have done 3 or 4 years ago, honestly. Let's see. Mike Newley, can you explain what currency you cash out? Yeah. So I've cashed out so far just my Amex points, and that's because I have the business checking account and the business platinum account, and I did it specifically. I was like, okay, I have a gift card for $50 for this mic, and I know I need to cash out another $50 to cover that. Like, let's just do that. So it's been directly for specific purchases, so I'm not just cashing it out, completely. But yeah, I have done that. Dim, cashing out points is blasphemy unless you really have to. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen that, right? I've seen where people like on Reddit they'll say like they cashed out like 1 million points on Amex because their business needed some cash in order to be able to make payroll or something, or like, yeah, like there's situations like that. But all things being equal, it'd be cool to keep those points around. Yeah. Background balloon, bad multipliers, high annual fees, overrated credits, and less lucrative sign up bonus. At some point, Chase just won't be good for earning points. Yeah. Yeah. The Chase Sapphire Preferred, right? That's kind of the key one. I, from the outside, really thought that was a special one, right? That was a special card. But practically, right? Like I get 3% or 3x back on pretty much any card I have, right? And I can earn any points at 3x. So that's not special for eating out. But this online grocery part, it's just like you have to plan ahead in order to get value from this thing. And it's stupid. And then 2x on basic travel is just like, I have the venture card. If you want me to use the venture card, I'll just use the venture card, And then the Southwest cards are stupid. The United cards have some sort of value. The IHG cards, like even like, the thing about IHG is like they don't really have a premium tier credit card like the Ritz-Carlton card or the Aspire card or something like that. It seems like Chase could have something like that. I don't know. What do you think? QC man, I would see a business customer generates a ton of Amex points cashing out, but for the most part, I see MR points for travel, unless extenuating circumstances hit, of course. Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And for most people, right, being able to cash those points out at 0.6 cents per point is a terrible redemption rate. You're not earning anything for that. You're not making any money. You're not saving anything. Like if you're going to get cash out, like do something else. Like Chase, Citi is even less good for cash back. Like if you earn the majority of those points on your Citi Strata Premier, for example, that's what 0.7 cents per point now, cash out rate. So that is, that's there. Let's see. Dong Kim is here. Welcome, Anathema. Keith, the CSP online grocery works for meal kits, especially when you're turning them for points, bonuses from the meal kits company. Okay. That is, we did talk about that and I haven't tried it yet, because I put that spend towards my sign up bonus on my Hilton card. And so, but yeah, no, I definitely want to do that. 100%. That's a solid option. Solid option. Dim, good night, gang. 10 p.m. here. Wow, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. I can't say that I've ever been on someone else's live when it was 10 p.m. at night for me. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Anyway, so we were talking about cashback versus points. Yeah, points are solid. Let's take a look at some other options here. So I want to take a look at let's do points. Yeah. Does anyone have points? Yeah. Okay, so Dim says with Citi you can combine accounts. So you can earn it on the Citi Strata Premier, transfer it to like the Citi Double Cash, and then cash it. Okay, well that's as long as that's there, then that may totally make sense. I get that. Okay, let's take a look here at. Oh, we do have some more comments. The chase multipliers are more excusable, or were more excusable, though still underwhelming when they had the automatic Porter multiplier. Agreed with that. They need better multipliers now that they're 1 cent per point for the most part. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that, especially if you're paying like the Sapphire Reserve. If you're going to throw in the dining there, give it 4 points, right? I mean, I feel like that could be solid. I do like the idea of the City Strata Elite getting 1.5x on everything for that card. If the Platinum card ever did that, I would probably use it a lot more, honestly, because I'd want to have those protections on everything. So if you have double cash, custom cash, you can bind with CSE or CSP to get one several. Okay, that's nice. Dem asking if he's in Europe. Keith Chase usually has offers to add the CSP, and you can also find offers in their shopping portal for meal kits. Yeah, the Chase offers, honestly, like they're definitely not as lucrative as the Amex offers, right? So the Amex offers I like because it's like extra 5x points back on Macy's or $250 off of Virgin or something like that. Like those are nice offers, but with Chase you get 15% off on a retailer that I use a lot, or things like that. Like that's really nice. And then Croatia, that's awesome. 2 weeks vacation. That's incredible. That's a nice vacation. Good job. All right, so I want to go into points. Yeah, so I recently got signed up for this, and one of the reasons why I like points is because there are points kind of options. So let's take a look at flight ideas. So this one here, you can actually travel from the United States to anywhere. I'm going to go to Europe. So we did Europe, and let's say let's do the whole month of, let's say, August of 2026. So let's say, yeah. All right, so now this is all cabins. So we're just going to do economy, or we're actually going to do business and first class. So the thing that I love about this is it definitely is one world heavily focused, yeah. But like it's so easy to search. So like if you want to fly, say, to London, you can fly there from 35,000 points. So that's solid. Let's say if we wanted to fly to Glasgow is there, Manchester is there. Let's see, Edinburgh does not appear to be there. Oh, there it is. 90,000 to Edinburgh. So that's another thing why it's harder to find direct flights to Edinburgh. But you can also fly, let's say if we wanted to go to Geneva, right? So you can fly to Geneva at 45,000 points, which is nice. Of course, that's 1,000. A lot of these, there we go. Fly to Paris on $45,018. Let's take a look at that. So let's see. That would be from Raleigh, Durham. Yeah, so let's take a look at this one. All right, so now we're looking at Raleigh, Durham to Paris. So let's see. One stop to JFK. Who's this on? This is on American. Wow. Okay, so American Airlines. So 45,000 Atmos points for $18. So you can travel to Paris on 45,000 points. Now, one thing that I do like to do is finding, let's see, so we know on 8/2 of 2026 that's a connecting flight. But what I can do is I can actually go and try to find from JFK. So I'm going to look for that same flight on JFK to Paris and see if I can actually find just that one leg of the plane. So we're going to do that. Okay, why is that doing that? All right. And of course, now these are all... there's a nonstop one here. That's directly with American. Okay. So it's harder to find like nonstop, but it's not terrible. Chase Aeroplane's not bad either. Although that's Air Serbia. I don't know if I'd want to fly on that. I've never actually seen an Air Serbia redemption before. All right, yeah. So we have some questions. Let's get back to the conversation. Keith, I have points. Yeah, I think it's one world heavily focused. Yeah, it is kind of hard to find one point search tool that gives you a lot of different access to like kind of across the board. That's easy to use. Burley Johnson, small question if you don't mind. I got my first Chase card, the Freedom Flex. As I'm 324 on the 524 front, I was thinking of getting another Chase card. Is Sapphire Preferred okay if I already use the Venture X? Yeah, okay. So the Sapphire Preferred, if you wanted to add it into your wallet, your everyday wallet, I would prioritize the spend on, the Freedom Flex already gets you the 3X on dining. Does it? I think it does. Right. I know the unlimited does. And so yeah, I mean, honestly, being in the same ecosystem is not bad. The Sapphire Preferred is fine. Like I mean, I have it. My wife and I got it. We got it with the 100,000 point offer. The current offer on it is really solid too. And so, like, if you're going to take advantage of having a low 524 status, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is probably one of the better options, right? But you might find that you do more spending on your Venture card than, like, if you're just like spending at like an outlet mall, or if you're just buying random things. Like, I would put that spend still towards the Venture X. Once I hit my sign up bonus. But, yeah, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is definitely, a solid card, especially if you want to, if you want to transfer your points out from your Freedom Flex card, you will need to get at least the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Reserve in order to be able to transfer those points out to partners if that's part of your goal. Let's see. Background Blown at Burley Johnson. Will you get value from the CSP? In other words, how often will you use its benefits? Yeah. And that's a good question, right? So the benefits there are what? The hotel credit, the $50 hotel credit, and then, the multipliers. And then I think you get the Dash Pass, right? The Dash Pass is kind of nice. Let me actually turn my key light down a little bit. There we go. All right. Chaz Money Minutes. Yo, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. We're just kind of ragging on Chase a little bit with these points. We're talking about whether or not Hyatt is going to devalue their points at all to a significant degree. Burley Johnson, background balloon, def won a second travel card. Wanted to keep my sub and points I gained within the ecosystem. CSR fee is too much, and Venture X matches up too close to justify. Yeah, the Venture X is kind of a solid no win, like easy win card. If you're going to travel, the travel credit is easy to use. The access with the lounges is pretty solid, so that's really nice. Like it's a solid layup of a card, and it's really easy to do that spending on those cards. It's a solid card, especially if you're trying to, just take advantage of that, the fact that you can actually use it overseas with no foreign transaction fees. People actually take it. It's nice. The Dash Pass, the $10 monthly DoorDash credit on non-restaurant purchases. Yeah, honestly, the DoorDash credit on non-restaurant purchases, I discount it. Like, I don't even look at it. I don't know. I did try doing grocery delivery through, I think it was Uber Eats once, through Fresh Market. And they kept getting everything wrong. And it was like, okay, this is like, because you have to text back and forth with the person who's doing the shopping. And then, sometimes you can't get through to them. And then it's a whole thing. Mike Newland, you would want the CSP to make your cash back into points. It'll be able to transfer them to partners anyway. Yeah, exactly. And Chase has decent transfer partners, right? So let's see. I know they have Virgin. I know they have Hyatt, United. Let's see. They have a couple others. I think they definitely have Air France. Oh yeah. So Aer Lingus. They have British Airways, so you can get into Avios, which is nice. Emirates. Oh yeah, JetBlue. JetBlue is 1-to-1, so that's really solid too. And so yeah, JetBlue is really nice. Air Canada Aeroplane is really nice. So yeah, so the Chase points, as much as we like to rag on them, they currently are important because of some of the transfer partners, right? Like, it's easy to transfer to Southwest if you're a Southwest person. They still kind of are pegged at around 1.5 cents. Some of them are less, some of them are more. United is kind of the same thing. So, it's you can definitely get some value, but the easiest way to get kind of insane value is, international business or Hyatt, like high level Hyatt places. Still considering, but thanks for the help. Everyone makes it easier. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for the question. We love all the questions here. This is that's the whole point of having this kind of office hour situation, is where everyone just kind of shares their knowledge, because I've done a lot of research into getting specifically to London. So like, I know, like, oh, if you want to travel to Paris, you can also get the Eurostar up to London. And sometimes that could be cheaper than paying Virgin Atlantic flights, stuff like that. But some other people have really good other knowledge about, like, how to get to Croatia, for example, or Anthony just recently went to Lake Como. And honestly, okay, so Anthony doing that platinum card video from Lake Como with it in the background, like, that's the the most baller move. I love that guy. He's amazing. QC man, just don't transfer to Marriott. Yes, absolutely don't transfer to Marriott. You're never going to get it what you want out of it. Just because, Marriott, you can get, okay, you can get 1 cent per point. But it's like, it's if you're doing a Ritz-Carlton in New York in Christmas or something like that, and you find the reward availability, right? So I would definitely kind of rely less on that. Background Balloon says, what I did was get the CSP with an elevated offer, then downgrade it to the OG Freedom. I can PC it back to the CSP if I ever needed to without having to sack my. Oh yeah, that's a solid option. Yeah, we're still in our first year of having the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and so we might actually do that again once we have it for the year, because we may not want to. We may not want to do that. Yeah. All right. So what are some good business cashback credit cards right now? Okay. Yeah. So business cashback credit cards right now. Okay. So if you're looking specifically for cashback, let's see if I have it in my my wallet book, my book wallet over here. So the American Express does have a pretty solid one. So the business cash card is pretty much an exact clone of the business preferred card. Let me make sure that I have all the things that need to be covered. Yeah, here we go. So the business cash card here is 2% cash back on every single purchase up to $50,000 on spend, and that's 1.5% back on every purchase beyond that. And so it's no annual fee, which is really nice. The only problem with American Express cashback is that it comes in the form of statement credit, and that is the only way it comes. And so, money is fungible, right? So $100 back into your credit card account is the same thing as not having to pay $100 from your checking account. But I know some people kind of prefer to actually get that cold hard cash directly. And so that's less of an option. The ink cards are really pretty solid for that. My wife just recently obtained the Ink Freedom Unlimited or the Ink Unlimited. And so that's basically the Freedom Unlimited. It's 1.5x and on every single thing, no annual fee, the whole 9 yards, right? So that's solid. And I think someone actually said the Spark cards are really good too. But Amex is really accessible for business cards, personally. So that's a solid option. If you don't already have them, the Chasing cards are great and have elevated offers right now as well. Absolutely. QC man, if you have a referral link to those, that would be, you can definitely feel free to post that as well, since you're the one who made the suggestion. But yeah, no, the ink cards are awesome. They have really high sign-up bonuses right now too. Yeah, Mike Newland, Capital One Spark Business Card. I keep forgetting about the Capital One business cards because, we haven't started really into that yet, but that's a solid option as well. At Background Balloon, good call. Personally, I don't have a need for the Freedom Unlimited, as Venture X is 2x on everything, and I have 1.5x. Do you know what other cards you can downgrade? Not Freedom. Oh, okay. I think it's pretty much the OG Freedom, the Freedom Unlimited, or the Freedom Flex, which it might be helpful to have 2 Freedom Flexes if you want to kind of maximize spending in that one. Daniel Sparks is back. QC man, the ink cards can have their cashback used for travel as well, but you can just use it as cashback if you want. Yeah. And if you're just doing cashback, you don't need to have the business preferred or the Sapphire business card. Or the Sapphire Reserve business card, because you're not transferring them out. So you can just have a no annual fee cashback card if you want. Also, no side hustle, not confident with business cards and stuff yet. 100%, yeah. If you're not comfortable with business cards, then you definitely don't need to get them. But if you are someone who is paid, so for example, last year, I did some contracting work with, let's see, there was some Outlier. So it was an AI training company. And so I was a contractor who was training AI, and, so I was getting a 1099. And so that was my business. And so that's how I got into the American Express business kind of family. And then, my wife started an LLC. And so now we kind of do all of that. So that's really nice. Ahmed, amazing stream. Phillip, what camera are you using? Pretty good quality. Thanks so much for asking. Yeah, I'm actually just using my iPhone on a tripod, and it's connected to my Mac. And so it's interesting because the iPhone itself is capable of doing, I think, 4K, but the StreamYard software is limited at 1080p. But thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. All right, Chad's Money Minutes, given that everyone flies to MCO, are you considering or have you already acquired the Atmos card? Yeah. So Bank of America with me is kind of, they don't really care for me that much. And and the reason why is so my wife, my mom and I, we used to have a Bank of America account, and it was closed under less than good circumstances. And so they actually wouldn't give me even a checking account until this summer. Actually, I tried it again. And so right now my velocity is quite high with my credit cards. And so I'm probably going to wait to try to do the Atmos cards maybe sometime next year after I've kind of gardened for a little bit. But yeah, no, I've definitely been able to get a lot of use out of the Atmos points. I transferred about 300,000 out before that from Amex before that loophole closed. And so, yeah, no, that's definitely on my radar. Probably won't get it right now. Maybe my wife might end up getting one soon. But does anyone know if you can actually group Atmos points in families? It feels like that could be possible. In which case that would make it really easy to combine what I have versus what she's able to get with the sign up bonus. But if that's difficult, then that would be a problem. Daniel Sparks is here. Thanks so much for being here, Daniel. Love Daniel. If you haven't been on his channel, Philip, I'm stuck in the dryer. Can you help me? It sounds like you may need some assistance. Philip, I'm rapidly losing hair. Should I go full bald? I tried the Rogaine for a little bit. Didn't work out very well. I kind of lost that battle. I did actually talk to. I go to a barber who's more of like a beard. Technician, and he actually thought that I should probably get rid of all this, but I don't know. I feel like if I do that, then that would send kind of the wrong message about how I feel about other people. I need some Turkish airline miles ASAP. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No, that is a thing. What was it? The New York mayor that was caught basically like Turkish was giving him like free flights, and everywhere he went, he like flew through Istanbul or something, I think. That was kind of crazy. QC Man, thanks, Phil. Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for that suggestion. Background Balloon at Burley Johnson, the OG Freedom is basically the Flex without the 3X categories. It's an okay card because you still get the 5X categories capped at 1.5 thousand or 1,500 per quarter, but not the end of the world if you PC it. Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of people talk about the OG Freedom card. It would be nice if they had other ones, like if you could go between families, like if you wanted to get, say, like probably change it to like a Southwest card or something. I don't know if that would make sense, but it would be cool for that to be an option. In my opinion, the CSP basically serves to transfer points from your Freedom cards to the transfer partners. The built card otherwise is a better alternative. Yeah, the problem with me, at least with the new built card. So my current problem is Wells Fargo won't give me the built card. My second problem with the updated built card is that if the multipliers are heavily reliant on built neighborhood dining, that's not a very effective program near where I live. And so I wouldn't really earn any of those higher multipliers, at least if they kind of go that way. Kirby G, JJ Daniel just own it. Absolutely. You could actually just shave it off on a live if you want, Daniel. In fact, I'll do it. If you come down here, I will shave your head off for you. Just happy to offer my services free of charge. You'll need to spend extra money on sunscreen for the noggin, though. Yeah, I do the hat thing. I have a lot of different kind of hats, and you can actually wash them because they're essentially basically sweatbands. Because I sweat a lot through my head, and now that there's nothing on my head to stop that sweat from going all over my face, I have to wear a hat. And so background balloon, Daniel isn't just a credit card content creator. We need to throw in another C for comedian. Absolutely. Daniel is really, really into entertainment. Actually, he's very entertaining. I love talking to him too. He's kind of a cool guy. QC Man, yep, that's my mayor, unfortunately. Yeah. That whole thing was wild. Which honestly, like if you're gonna get like kickbacks, like points and miles are not bad, right? That's not bad. Kachono Wheeler, do you have any data points or know anything about the US Bank business credit cards or Citibank business credit cards? So I don't actually know anything particularly actually on those. I don't have either of those because, well, US Bank also doesn't like me. Maybe I may need to work on my velocity, actually. Maybe it's not a good thing that I opened 20 cards this year. All right, let's take a look at US Bank. Let's go ahead and throw up the... there we go. Let's take a look here. All right, so US Bank Business Altitude Power Card, 2x points on all purchases, no caps or limits. That sounds like a pretty solid card. So we have pretty solid welcome offer too. 75,000 bonus points, over 10,000 on the owner's account in the first 120 days of opening your account. So that's pretty solid. 2.5x points on up to 5,000 combined mobile wallet and virtual card purchases each quarter. $100, $195 for the annual fee there. Altitude Connect here is 60,000 points after spending 6,000, and that's the first 6 months. 5x on prepaid hotels and car rentals, 4x on travel, including airfare, hotels, gas, and EV charging stations, 2x on dining, takeout, restaurant delivery. The 2x is less important to me, but this 4x on travel on this card is pretty interesting to me. $0 introductory annual fee for the first year. That's pretty solid. US Bank Triple Cash Rewards. Is this still business? I don't know if that's still business. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So $500 back, earn 3% cash back on eligible purchases at gas and EV charging stations. That's pretty solid too. No annual fee. And then the leverage Visa signature card earns 2x in the top two categories where you spend the most automatically. Okay. So they do have some options. I think the most intriguing to me would probably be if I was traveling, this Altitude Connect could be a good option. Or let's see, this one could be good, a good catch-all. So either one of these, I think I'd be happy with. Although paying $195 for a 2x card that doesn't actually specifically give you like a bonus or a credit could be kind of interesting. So go back to the chat here. Hoping I could product change my Aviator Red to a custom cash once that card is nuked. Yeah, that would be good. I do have a couple of custom caches. They're pretty nice. I like Citi. Cities are nice. I've transferred all of my Citi points to American Airlines right now, and we can fly American Airlines a decent amount, but they're kind of expensive for like the European trips. It's like, 60, 70, 80,000 for international business if you book directly through American. Background balloon, true, built with the new anticipated changes. Yeah. We'll see what the changes are, but that could be bad. Citi has surprisingly few business cards. US Bank business cards are solid for cashback. Yeah. What these were looks really, really, really awesome. Yeah. Let's go back to Citi business cards too. Let's see. Yeah, they have the American Advantage business card. So it seems like they're co-branded. Could be the best ones. Let's see this. Okay, yes, they have two businesses. They have the Citi Advantage Business World Elite MasterCard. Say that 5 times fast. And this gets 2x on all eligible American Airlines purchases. So it only earns 2x on American purchases, which I would rather have the Citi Strata Premier at 3x on airfare purchases, right? And then the Costco Anywhere Visa Business Card earns cashback at Costco and everywhere else you shop. So, Citi, not the best, but US Bank actually pretty good. Kirby, just use my DoorDash credit for some groceries. After the $10 CSP credit and tip service fees, it basically breaks even, but I don't have to leave the house. So that's nice. Yeah, that is really solid. Credit card applications go burr. Yeah, I probably applied to about 30 cards so far this year, and I've gotten 20 approvals. So, most of those denials have been pretty recently. Link 875, how do you deal with the heat in Orlando, just visiting Disney, and dang, it gets warm? Yeah, you just invest in a really good air conditioner. So my wife and I, we had to replace our air conditioner 2 years ago. And so we actually got the biggest internal unit that would fit in the space that was provided for it. And so it controls the temperature pretty well. Our house is like 1,400 square feet, and our power bill, I want to say around 300 a month in the summer months. But pretty much, yeah, we have automatic start on our car. So like whenever we're driving somewhere, we just turn the car on while we're getting dressed. It cools down and then we get there. But, it's not terribly. It's just human. But the Disney parks, there's so little shade on so many of them. Like if you're doing Animal Kingdom or Epcot, like there's hardly any shade, which is a problem. And so like you just feel like the full brunt of the heat, and which is especially for so many of the tourists that come here are from England, like they're not used to full heat like that. So that's kind of a problem. But yeah, no, Florida's hot. QC man, I think City may only have the Costco and A cards as business cards. Yeah, 100% can back that up with, that's correct. Background Blue says you completed the original Pokedex for City business cards. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, they're the regional Pokedex. Yeah. 30 applications, is that between you and P2 or just me? I have a problem now. But no, my wife and I, so right now I was actually taking a look at how many points I have. So I am at about 70,000 Delta points, about 150,000 Hilton points, about 150,000 Marriott points, 250,000 Alaska points or Atmos points. And then we're at 150,000 Chase points, 20,000 Venture miles. And then let's see, what was the Amex one? Oh yeah, about 600,000 Amex points. So we've been enjoying the sign up bonuses, and the reason why is because pretty much we're trying to like make sure that we have solid options for kind of big international trips. So we have kind of on the horizon. But yeah, no, I've kind of gone a little nuts, but so I'll be writing it in kind of soon. Background Balloon, it's crazy they don't have a thank you point business card. Yeah, they should. Like come on, guys. Like a City Strata Elite business. It earns 2x on the first $5,000 in business related spending a quarter or something. That could be good. All right, and then Good Patient, thanks so much for being here. Use Milio. No, I haven't. I have heard about it, and I have, but most of the people that I want to pay kind of already take credit cards, so I really haven't had much of a need to use it. But that is really interesting. I have heard some people have success with it, but I haven't personally used it very much because all of my bills I can pay with my Mesa card anyway, and so like I don't really have a need to use that. I think the only thing that I would maybe benefit from is with a let's see, that would be the mortgage, but we already get points on that anyway through my Mesa card, so not really that curious about using that for the sign up bonuses. But that's because like between the medical expenses for IVF treatments and stuff, and then with the adoption expenses and things like that, we really haven't had much of a trouble of using our sign up, like hitting our sign up bonuses either. So we really haven't had a need. But if anyone else has used Melio, please let me know in the comments section. For real, the fact that City doesn't have a thank you point business card is wild. Even Wells has their own in-house business card, and if Wells can do that, yes. Honestly, remember when was it last spring? Wells announced their transfer partners, and everyone was like, "We'll see what they do." I think we're still waiting. We're still waiting. Like I think Mesa actually has more transfer partners than Wells Fargo. Let's take a look. Let's do some investigating. All right, and then we're going to do Bill Blazant Mesa stack. Yeah, I have heard some people use that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, Wells Fargo rewards transfer partners how to redeem for points. So let's take a look at they have Aer Lingus, which is nice, Air France, Avianca, British Airways, Iberia, so which is all just basically just we have Avios, guys, and that's half the list. And then they have Virgin Atlantic, which everybody has, and then choice privileges at a 1 to 2. So 1 to 2 for choice is nice. That's really solid. But then there's nothing, right? And there's nothing else. Now let's take a look at Mesa. So we're just going to kind of rub it in a little bit. Mesa has a core. They have Aero Mexico, Air Canada, Air India, Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific and Finnair are kind of the only kind of one world access points, I think. Then they have SAS, which is huge because SAS, nobody else and America transfers to SAS, and they have some pretty good, decent business availability. Thai Airways, Vietnam, and then Hainan is there. Air India is really solid for for United flights. So that's really nice. But yeah, no. So Mesa actually has more transfer partners than Wells Fargo does at this point, which is just wild. Mike Newland built in Mesa Stack. Yeah, that's true. I haven't tried that though, because I probably should look into that honestly. But we'll see. Because with Bill, do you have to specifically use a certain do you have to specifically use a certain bank in order for that to be a thing? Because our mortgage provider may not be that up on like the current trends. Background balloon, we'll see what Wells will do. Then Wells proceeds to do nothing for the next year and probably longer. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they have more, but I don't know if they will. We'll see. Do we think that there will be more transfer partners? Like, actually, one thing I did want to bring up. So, if anyone's familiar with Brightline. So Brightline is supposedly the first high speed rail in southern part of the United States. They sent me an email, and in this email they were advertising for the Venture X, and it was a higher sign up bonus for the Venture X. But it was really weird because it was a Brightline email, so it was Brightline colored, right? It was like their yellows, their whites, and it was advertising the Venture X, and it really got me wondering if it's possible that Brightline could be a transfer partner for Capital One, or if they could come up with their own kind of credit card that's issued by Capital One. And so for those of you that haven't heard of Brightline, so since there's a decent amount of you that probably haven't, let's take a look at it. All right, so Brightline is a high-speed rail, and so pretty much their destinations are in South Florida right now. So they go from Orlando to Miami. And this is actually, it's high speed. Oh, here it is. Capital One, the Venture and the Venture X earn up to 75,000 Capital One bonus miles. So on their website, so on the header, they have this this offer for Capital One cards. And you go to your pre-approval. So if you click through, it goes through to Capital One, but it's a specific Brightline landing page, which is wild. I've never seen something like this where a travel company is actually advertising a kind of like an actual bank owned card. And it made me wonder, what's Brightline's game? Are they going to be actually working on kind of a co-branded card? And they have their own rewards program. Like you buy tickets, you earn points. So $1 every 5 points. And so essentially that's really wild. So like, it's interesting that they have their own reward program and they could have kind of a way to actually earn points. And there's kind of a, there's a precedent for this, right? So Amtrak has their own loyalty program, but they also have their own credit cards, and they have two of them. There's a premium one of $95, and then there's the base card, and that's through FNBO, which I don't really care for as a bank because their app kind of sucks, but it's a solid card if you travel with Amtrak. So QC Man here saying, I think Amtrak was a transfer partner for Chase at some time in the past, so why not Brightline for Capital One? Yeah, I know. And honestly, if you could use Capital One points for Brightline, I would use it more, honestly. Getting a trip down to Palm Beach would probably save me, like in gas or something. Now that would be nice. Well, thanks so much for the $2. I really appreciate you. You are incredible. But yeah, so the idea of having I feel like that could be happening. But the basic question that I was asking was like pretty much whether or not it's possible for there to be more transfer partners added. And I don't know what that could be unless it's more like kind of European stuff. What do you guys think? So I know that, let's see, when I was traveling at a couple of hotels, what was that hotel that I stayed at in Manchester? So let's take a look at the Manchester hotel. That was, let's see, where is it? Sorry, my brain's loading. Oh, the Radisson. So yeah, so the Radisson is so the European version of Radisson is actually its own separate loyalty program. And so you can earn those points, but you can't transfer them right now. So you could have like an international hotel program, like the European arm of Radisson or something that could be helpful, which is really interesting. So something like that. But I don't know. Like I just feel like there's not a whole lot of extra transfer partners to add. Like I think a lot of them are just kind of going down above and beyond those points. What do you guys think? Is there something I'm missing? What if we actually started earning in like restaurant referral or award dollars? So like every you could transfer your Capital One miles to like 10 Dunkin' Donut points or something like that. You think that would be a good idea? Would you be excited about that? All right. Well, that was just kind of my question, but it's kind of getting a little late in the day anyway, so we may need to kind of wrap it up anyway. But thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Thanks so much for kind of being here a little bit later than my normal time. My wife and I had to go pick up some baby stuff from Facebook Marketplace Meetup, which honestly, those are all kind of a little shady. But I'm glad I was able to be there to run security. Background balloon. Imagine rental car companies becoming transfer partner option. Yeah, that could be interesting, right? So if I could get like save a couple $100 off of like a national or enterprise rental car, like that could be helpful, especially since so many of these credit cards give you status, right? So I have nationals, the presidential elite status or whatever it is, and Hertz has something too. So yeah, that could be a solid option. I wouldn't mind having a free rental car. That could be good. All right. Before we wrap it up, though, I just want to say thank you again to QC Man for $2 and for Law for $2 as well. Each of you are amazing. Thanks so much for everyone who joined in. I really appreciate you. Thanks so much to Daniel for being a community. QC Man, we in this community probably wouldn't go for it, but I know some folks who'd use their points for Dunkin' or McDonald's. Yeah. Honestly, those Dunkin' points are not terribly not terrible. You can redeem them for a decent amount of stuff. But anyway, thanks again for being here, guys. I really appreciate every single one of you, and thanks so much again for being here. Make sure you if you are QC Man, please drop that that a link somewhere. I don't know if you can actually. Maybe you can't, but if you can, do that, and everybody use their referral links. But anyway, thanks again. You guys are amazing. And oh, wow. Thanks so much to Mike Newland. I appreciate you as well. And you know what? This it means I definitely have to look into that built-in Mesa thing now. So thanks again. You guys are amazing. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.